We know that Hitler is not like an ordinary politician. He wants the Third Reich to last for 1,000 years. He also knows that not all adult Germans are Nazi supporters. You know, they never achieve a majority in any election. So how can he make Germany Nazi-proof for the next 1,000 years? He has to get into the minds of young people. One way he can do this is through education, through schools. However, that's not enough for him. He also wants to control and indoctrinate children at the weekends and in the evenings. So he sets up an organisation called the Hitler Youth. Before Hitler came to power, there were many, many youth organisations in Germany, like our Boy Scout movement, Girl Guide movement. However, once he comes into power, he closes all these kind of rival youth movements down and sets up the Hitler Youth. The Hitler Youth has two distinct sections, one for boys and one for girls. In terms of the boys, what do they want to achieve? Okay, the program, the activities are dominated by aggressive, competitive activities designed to prepare boys overwhelmingly for military service. The war is going to be on the horizon soon. He wants to get his boys ready and prepared for war in the future. So what do? They go marching and hiking and camping. They encourage aggression amongst the boys. They have planned fights with other members of Hitler Youth to encourage brutality and aggression in the boys. Okay, so that goes on. They also have certain periods set aside for studying Mein Kampf, studying the program of the Nazi Party. So the boys are being prepared for war, basically, prepared to be aggressive and brutal, and they will eventually join the army. Okay, that's the boys. What about the girls? The girls have their own distinct organisation within the Hitler Youth. They are never allowed to kind of mix with each other. They are totally separate wings of the Hitler Youth. And the girls' part is called the League of German Maidens. In German, it's the BDM. And what do? Okay, so the boys are off fighting and being aggressive. The girls are again being prepared for motherhood. That could be classes in how to look after babies, but also lots of sports, lots of gymnastics, organised gymnastics. Why? To make sure they're fit and healthy to bear children. Do the Nazis succeed in getting people to join the Hitler Youth? At first, when the Nazis come into power, it's voluntary. You don't have to join. However, as the years roll on, by 1936, it's very difficult to avoid being in the Hitler Youth. There's a lot of compulsion to join, and indeed, by just before the war, by 1939, it becomes compulsory. And by that stage, 8 million boys are in the Hitler Youth. During the war, of course, the Hitler Youth will become the last hope of the Nazi regime, and indeed will fight to the very end for Hitler. Overall, is Hitler successful in building up this youth wing of the Nazi Party? To a large extent, he is. You know, as I said before, they do become very, very fanatical followers of the party. They even are prepared to report on their parents if their parents are anti-Nazi or hostile to Hitler. So Hitler does manage to create a fanatical team of young people who are absolutely loyal to him. However, lots of the children do not respond to the Hitler Youth. They might like the camping, they might like getting out of town, which in the 1930s was a big deal, but they don't always like the lectures and the lessons on Hitler. They find very tedious. However, overall, does it succeed? To a large extent it does. Okay, let's have a quick recap. Hitler Youth, voluntary until 1936, and when it becomes increasingly difficult not to join the Hitler Youth. Compulsory by 1939, 8 million members at the beginning of the Second World War. What are they doing? The boys are overwhelmingly being prepared to fight. So games that include aggression, brutality, competition are very much to the fore. Hiking, camping, marching, firing weapons, getting used to guns, for example. Separate section for the girls, the BDM, the League of German Maidens, where they concentrate on motherhood, being fit to have babies, keeping the race pure. Are they successful? Some children don't join, some children remain hostile to the regime, but in many instances these young people who go through the Hitler Youth become Hitler's most fanatical and loyal supporters. Okay, that's the Hitler Youth.